Hello, good morning, or should I say this afternoon? Good afternoon. This morning I made an early morning start and I decided to go back to my old format of discussing relationships and obviously Filipinas. They seem to be uh, more appreciated than the real truth about some particular groups of people. Now, somebody said that I should maybe write a book and it should be compulsory reading for everybody. Well, I'm not quite that big headed. But what I will say is that it's a very uh, hard thing to get across to those that are anticipating or looking at the idea of creating a life with a Filipina woman. I'm in no way trying to diminish the attractiveness of a Filipino woman or be disrespectful to their charm and good looks here or anywhere in the world. But I think, as you probably would have read a lot of the comments made over the year regarding some of the issues that I've raised, and majority of those are well-meaning and very supportive to the concept that I raise. Of course, you will always get the knuckleheads that can put a few words together, can't spell, but they have a good go at putting either my ideas down or a preposterous idea of their own. Now, putting them, of course, aside, the reality is that we want to make what is going to be the end of our lives for most of us. If we're over 60 and we come here to the Philippines to retire, I can't imagine too many 60-year-olds necessarily picking up a young wife and taking her back to the States. Because one of the reasons why so many people come here is for financial reasons anyway. And to take her back to the States is only one of two things. One is stupidity, and the other one, of course, would be they're so wealthy they can afford to live the lifestyle that they had before in the States, but with a foreign national as their wife. But as a general rule, most of you come over here, you're either in retirement or very close to it. You have sufficient money to support yourself, and therefore it's a planned event. And I must say that even though I did it myself, I still think that the best way is not my way. And that is, I don't really think that you can, yes, you can get to have an acquaintance online. You can think you know everything about them. But until you actually come and live day to day, go to the market, sit in the evening and think what we're going to do next. After all, once you've laid in the sack for a while, a few times, it does become matter of fact. So if you've come here just for that and you want to spend the next 10, 15 years in the sack, well, as long as your libido carries on all right, good luck. But generally speaking, you don't marry or live with a lady just to have a libido satisfied. So there has to be a little bit more to a relationship than just that. And it's only going to be discovered how that person ticks and how her world ticks here in the Philippines. Because like we've said before, taking her back to another country, she's going to be in awe of everything that is available. I mean, Jane went just for 6 weeks with the girl to Australia, free of charge as a result of a very generous brother. but everything was paid for. But the one thing that she did notice is the cost of things. The availability of things is another matter altogether. But here in the Philippines, of course, majority of Filipinos who haven't travelled are only spending their every day thinking how they're going to deal with tomorrow and the rest of today. And until you've actually been under the same roof as somebody maybe with small children and they've got to get them off to school, got to buy books, pencils, rubbers, special notebooks, you've got to go to the various parts of the market maybe to buy them, or nearby the school, maybe walk them to work, walk them to school, wherever they're your girlfriend or your wife to be. All their daily routines, until you've experienced all those. And then you become accustomed also to the weather. You become accustomed to maybe just your surroundings, because the surroundings will always be somewhat an eye-opener. But after a while, your mind sort of softens the edges of what you're looking at. And you tend to evaluate things on a different level. I remember when I first came here, I just couldn't believe why all these unfinished buildings everywhere. What looked like derelict Beirut or somewhere like that. And it was just simply a home being built by an overseas foreign worker, sending money back as they could afford it. And as a result, the property never really nothing happened to it for many months, sometimes years. Certainly around here, there's homes that haven't had anything done to them in the last 8 years that I've seen. Now, whether they've just completely run out of money, or whether they've decided it's not that worthwhile, or they just simply can't afford to, the house will just remain there. So many of them are lived in the bottom or the ground floor level, and they never get to do the top. You just got the concrete roof, sometimes even just corrugated iron strapped down in its place. But it takes a few visits to parties, christenings and gatherings in some of these homes for you to realize just how some people live. Some of you comment about, oh, you can see the sky outside from the roof, because there's no roof in it, no ceiling. And of course, that may be a concern if you're worried about mosquitoes, but generally speaking, they've got that sussed themselves. But until you see your wife or your girlfriend in a home environment, with her mum, with her aunties, with her cousins, see the reaction on her face, see her body language, start to realize how they react to you. Are they just polite to you? Are they friendly towards you? Do they ever ask you for money? All of those things are important. It's not the fact that they're asking you these things, but you've got to take them on board, because if you get somebody who's just every time they see you, they're asking for money, then you must have to ask yourself, why are they doing that? Is there something about me that they need to keep asking me? When I first came here, I went to look at a motorbike in a motorbike shop, and I was only kicking tires. I just wanted to get an idea of what they were and how much they were and how much down payment they required to secure the contract, and what was required for registration. And before 24 hours had gone by, the young salesman had already rung me back up on my mobile phone, that they always insist to get your phone number, to ask me for a 30,000 peso loan. Unbelievable. I couldn't imagine living in England or Australia and somebody who I'd only talked to for a few moments of the day coming back to me within the hour to ask me if they could borrow $1,000. Given the fact that they spend most of their $1,000 that they make in a month, which they claim they make, which they clearly didn't, because I now know what their daily rates are. I would have been suckered in if I'd ever believed that. But right from word go, I've always said to myself that word, no. And it applies to your girlfriend, your wife, and her family. It doesn't mean that you won't let them have money when you think is a necessary need. But you do have to control your money. It is, after all, your money. It's not theirs. They are living their life as you arrive in their life. So they've been used to a certain amount themselves. And I doubt very much that it's more than 10, maybe 15,000 a month. And that's a pretty tight budget to bring up maybe a couple of kids and keep shelter over you. And most of the time, they're living in an environment maybe of a brother or a sister or a family auntie's house, or even the parents' house. So that way they're not paying rent. But they're contributing that money, of course, to their parents as well. So you get a much better overall picture. And you're not going to get it in 4 weeks. 4 weeks, okay, so you've just lost 15,000. Maybe you gave them 20. But that doesn't tell you what they spend their money on, how they spend it. How many bottles of beer do they buy every week? How many smokes do they participate in? All of these things you have to know, because they're hidden costs. And if somebody's claiming poverty and they're unable to make ends meet, you have to, in a way, say no, because otherwise it's going to end up with cigarettes and beer. Now, there's nothing wrong that when you feel the mood to buy them a pack or a bottle occasionally, it's always going to be greatly received. Even a big bag of rice once a month is another good one. But I would say that you have to live in the Philippines at least 6 months to get a real feel of what your day-to-day life is going to be like. Experience times with brownouts. Experience trying to go to sleep with dogs barking in the street and noisy motorbikes with no mufflers on running down at 11:30 at night, just as you start to nod off. And I'm just going to chase a chicken away. Go on! Go on! They've discovered where I'm feeding the cat, down here, away from where they come for free meals. So anyway, that's just another thought for the day, and I hope you enjoy it when you sit back and either have your breakfast overseas or maybe your evening meal tonight as you settle down for the evening. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. My goodness, we've lost a few subscribers. I wonder if they're Americans who got their nose out of joint. Anyway, you have a great day. 2024's here. Let's go, baby. Bye.